And this recording will be sent out later on this afternoon. So Sergio has a ton of information that he's going to go through. And we want to make sure that you have an opportunity to go back and reference any of that information that is covered. So keep an eye out for that. Also attached to that recording is going to be a survey. I'm going to send out the survey in the chat later on in the session. So keep an eye out for that as well. So if you don't fill it out here in the session, you have the opportunity to do that. We value your opinion as students and alumni here at WGU. So we certainly looking for that feedback from you all. So if you could submit that, 2 questions, should take you no more than 2 minutes. The chat is open, so as you've kind of already seen, you've been posting in there. Feel free to post questions in the chat. We will have a designated Q&A at the end of the session. So if you want to hold off on certain questions until then, you'll have the opportunity to send those in, and Sergio will be able to answer those. And with that, before I pass it over to Sergio, I do want to just, here's an opportunity to network a little bit. So in the chat, if you're comfortable, you want to share your LinkedIn, we certainly encourage that. It's huge, especially as you start to build out your professional network. Obviously, people have a level of interest in the same topic. So we want to make sure that you're spreading your wings a little bit, connecting with your fellow WGU students or alumni that might already be working in the field in different school districts. So certainly would encourage people, send in the chat your LinkedIn, get connected, build out that professional network. And then from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass it over to Sergio. Sergio, the floor is yours.
Perfect. Thank you so much, RJ. Thank you, everybody, for being here today. I have in front of me our teacher candidate presentation for New York City Public Schools. So just before we begin, a couple of things. Like RJ mentioned before, we do have the chat feature on this web platform. I will be answering the questions at the end, but as we go through the presentation, feel free to type in a question just so it doesn't escape your mind while I'm going through the presentation, but I will be referring back to it at the end of the session. You will be receiving a recording of this webinar after it is over. There are a couple of QR codes that we have throughout this presentation. If you're not on a computer, what you can do, and what I didn't know you could do before, is you can screenshot the current slide that you're on, and then when you go into your photos, you can click and hold the QR code and it'll open up the link. So just a couple of tips if you don't get the QR code. So today's session is for New York State teacher candidates who either are certified or are on the track to become certified in New York City, or New York State, I'm sorry. So the presentation has been broken up into 4 different topics: an overview of New York City Public Schools, the teacher application process, the job search process, and any questions that you might have at the end. Again, feel free to type those questions in the chat as we go by, and they will be answered towards the end. So again, in this section, we'll do a brief overview of New York City Public Schools, just a snapshot of the districts, the benefits of a career with New York City Public Schools, and any teacher supports and opportunities. Just a quick quote from our Chancellor, Melissa Aviles Ramos. We have many different roles, but a single shared goal: to build bright stars and bold futures for our children. And this is from our Chancellor. So when you're joining New York City Public Schools, you are going to be joining the largest, most dynamic district in the nation, with over 900,000 students who speak over 180 languages and a network of 77,000 fellow teachers. New York City educators do have the unique privilege and responsibility to jumpstart the next generation of innovators, leaders, and citizens. New York City Public School students represent a wide range of backgrounds, identities, languages, and learning needs. They need teachers who reflect their diversity and are ready and able to support their learning. So whatever your background, experiences, skill sets are, there are students in the New York City Public School classroom who are waiting for a teacher just like you. Like I mentioned, New York City has 1,600 schools in the neighborhood, from that are deep rooted in their local community, small thematic schools in the performing arts, humanities, dual languages schools. So whatever your interest or passion may be, there definitely is a school for you. So something that I do want to mention is the New York State class size law. This is a law that was passed by the governor. It's for this school year, an additional, not additional, I'm sorry, a total of 8 to 9,000 new teachers are looking to be hired for the 2025-2026 school year. This is an opportunity for educators in New York City. We're hiring, like I said, an additional 3,700 additional teachers. And each year until 2028, we will need to hire more and more teachers to ensure that our classrooms citywide are in compliance with this New York State law. And new schools mean new opportunities. So New York City Public Schools is growing with new schools opening every single year. This fall, we actually have 9 brand new schools that are opening up, which offers a whole bunch of opportunities for future teachers. So, New York City Public Schools is dedicated to attracting and retaining the very best teachers for our schools. We're looking for compassionate, collaborative, committed teachers who reflect the incredible diversity of the student body. What we want to do, our main goal, help put students on the path to college, careers, and a lifetime of learning. So teachers, as we know, do have long-term impacts. Teachers matter most to student achievement. Students carry a teacher's impact into their future classrooms. Every teacher drives high school graduation rates, and graduating from high school can change someone's life. Now, what are some of the benefits of teaching at New York City Public Schools? Well, one, you get to make a difference in the lives of your fellow New Yorkers, maybe even those in your local community. You're focusing on building a better future. Using your skills to help develop the nation's next leaders, innovators, and educators. And you're building relationships with colleagues dedicated to a shared goal. Again, joining a robust network of over 70,000 teachers. Now, the starting salaries as of January 2025 were 66,000. However, this slide is reflecting the competitive salaries that we're going to be having as of September 25th, 2025. When you join New York City Public Schools, you are joining the largest teacher union as well. And because of that, you do have salaries that change in accordance with the union contract. Now, the Office of Teacher Recruitment and Quality is unable to predict your starting salary based on your experience and any educational attainment that you get, regardless of the pathway that you choose. But there is a salary schedule calculator that is on this QR code here if you are interested in looking into what your potential salary could be. But what we have here is a bachelor's degree with no prior teaching experience. You're starting at $68,902 for September of 2025. If you have your master's degree and no prior teaching experience, you're starting at $77,455. You could potentially be eligible for increases if you have previous experience teaching, whether it is out of the state. If you're eligible for a higher salary due to experience or educational attainment, you must apply for a salary step when you begin teaching full-time at New York City Public Schools. Unfortunately, you cannot apply before then. If you had experience as a paraprofessional, your years of teaching won't count as full-time experience. But if you're a full-time substitute teacher, your experience does count as full-time teaching, but you would need to provide documentation and proof of full-time work. So looking ahead, this slide looks ahead to what your salary could potentially be in the future at New York City Public Schools. If you're currently in your 8th year of teaching with your master's plus 30 credits after your master's, which we can go in detail, or I can go in detail more in the Q&A session. But again, your master's plus 30 credits of professional development courses, you would be at $103,000. I'm sorry, $103,291. If you have 15 years of teaching at New York City Public Schools with your master's degree plus your 30 and above credits of professional development, you would be making $123,939. Remember, this is using the pay scale for the 2025 school season, so these rates are still subject to increase with the yearly raises negotiated on your UFT contract. And you can find additional salary resources regarding salaries on the following web pages. So you can use your phone. You can either scan these now or use your phone, screenshot them, so you can have these resources in the future. The first one is directs you to the UFT webpage, which is the United Federation of Teachers Union. The middle is resources that New York City Public School has regarding the salaries. And the one on the right is a salary webinar recording. If you're not tired of my voice, I did do a salary info session going into more detail about the salary steps and differentials, as well as other benefits at New York City Public Schools. Being a New York City public school also comes with robust benefits, a comprehensive health insurance plan, including dental, vision, and prescription drugs. Some require no employee contribution. There are annual retention bonuses as well, which are prorated during your first year, and they do increase each year after that. Enrollment in a pension plan through New York City Public Schools. And New York City Public School employees are eligible for many additional benefits, including commuter benefits, a college savings program, and employee discounts on everything from technology and media to travel and education. In addition, scholarships, financial incentives, and other special programs are available for many employees. Speaking of, there are loan forgiveness programs. So there are some that are statewide, not specifically for New York City public school teachers. That is the New York State Teacher Loan Forgiveness Program and the Federal Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program as well. So again, screenshot these. These links are going to take you to outside resources apart from New York City Public Schools if you want to learn more about these loan forgiveness programs. So something that we did want to mention for professional development is our New Teacher Week. So New Teacher Week is an annual event where new teachers can get inspiration from special guest speakers, learn about key policies, engage with United Federation of Teachers members, and network with their fellow teachers. This is just part of the career development opportunities that we're trying to make more available to New York City public school teachers. We do also have school-based mentoring. So new hires with an initial or a Trans B license are assigned an experienced and trained mentor teacher to support professional growth throughout year one. We also have a first class newsletter, which is a monthly digital bulletin for first year teachers that spotlights vetted resources, teaching tips, and answers to common questions that teachers might have. New York City public school teachers, no matter where they are in their career, also have access to professional development opportunities at their schools, including coaching, professional development days, and after school learning opportunities. After your first couple of years, there are opportunities to move up within your specific classroom if those positions are posted. Some of these positions include a model teacher, master teacher, and peer collaborative teachers. Each of these have their own requirements in terms of experience and what is asked of from the teachers afterwards. But if you're interested in learning more about these teacher leader opportunities in the future, again, scan the QR code, screenshot it to get more information about these teacher leader opportunities. I do also want to briefly touch upon early childhood education and opportunities that we have there. So, early childhood is a mayoral initiative by Mayor Bill de Blasio for 3K and pre K for all. Studies show that children enrolled in quality early childhood are better prepared academically, socially, and emotionally to succeed in elementary school and beyond. This is why New York City Public Schools made it a priority over the last several years to provide high quality early childhood programs for all New Yorkers. Again, with that goal in mind, the pre-K initiative is currently servicing all 32 school districts, supporting 40,000 students. One thing that I want to mention, I know this is a lot of information all at once, but the New York City community-based organizations are a branch of New York City Public Schools, but they are all independently owned and operated by either nonprofits or third-party companies. So if you do decide to become a teacher at these early childhood community-based organizations, just know that you are a part of their HR department, their benefits, and you're under their umbrella, basically. One thing that I do like to share about these community-based organizations is the lead teacher on a study plan. This is for anybody who is currently enrolled in an early childhood education program who isn't certified yet, but wants experience in a classroom. These are full-time roles that are able to support teachers on a study plan. They're a study plan is created for these teachers, but you are able to work full-time in these community-based organizations. So to me personally, I think it's a great way to get experience in a classroom while you're still working towards your certifications. And again, just some more roles that we have here for these for certified teachers, and then roles that we have for uncertified teachers and staff. Again, anybody who is currently enrolled in a program, but maybe they're not graduating yet or not close to graduating, this could potentially be an opportunity to gain experience in the field. Now, I briefly want to touch upon the application process. I don't know how many people here are currently certified, about to be certified, but I will go over the application process because it does, get a little bit confusing at times. Now, all teachers in all New York City public school teachers must hold a valid teaching certification from the New York State Education Department. Most of our applicants have already earned their certification or will have it by the time they plan to begin full-time teaching. If you're currently in a teacher preparation program, which I believe most of you are, or hold a teaching certification in another state, you must apply for New York State certification at nysed.gov. You should submit your New York City teacher application while you're completing your certification requirements or while you're waiting for your certification. You don't need to wait until you're certified in order to apply. Meaning, if I believe someone is joining us here from Texas, while you're in the process of getting certified in New York State, you are able to fill out the application for us at New York City Public Schools while you wait for the certification to be approved. Additionally, if you are at a certain point in your schooling, you may have the opportunity to obtain an internship certification. Now, internship certification, the word internship kind of throws people off, but if you're currently in a master's program and you're in your first year, or you've finished your first year already, you would be able to be eligible for this internship certification. So this is available to students who have completed at least 50% of an approved New York State graduate program leading to initial certification. Again, if you're about to be certified in students with disabilities 7 through 12, and you've just finished your first year, you could be eligible for the internship certification and you can start working at almost a year early. So everyone who is interested in teaching for the upcoming school year must complete their New York City teacher application on teachnyc.net. When applying to teach in New York City public schools, you should think of several important action steps. These action steps are not necessarily listed in order since you can submit your New York City teacher application without officially being certified. But oftentimes, teacher candidates want to know, should I wait to be certified before I apply? All teacher candidates should absolutely apply before their certification is issued. Applying before you're certified is actually recommended and expected. Don't wait until after your certification comes through to apply. This could potentially delay your employment with New York City Public Schools. You'll get your teacher certification through New York State Education Department. So it's important to note that the New York State Education Department is a separate entity from New York City Public Schools. This is something that a lot of people get confused about. The New York State Education Department is the main entity that issues certifications. So in short, if New York State Education Department says you're certified, then you're ready to be hired under your certification. Make sure that you're working closely with WGU and their certification office to ensure that you complete all certification requirements. Now, this is the full application process from beginning to end. What you're going to do is complete the common profile, which is just basic information about yourself. Complete the New York City Public School teacher application, which is where you're submitting your certification, your references, your resume, and things of that nature. Once all of that is submitted, New York City Public Schools reviews your application. Then, once it's approved and everything is all good, your certifications are cleared, they're able to verify all the information that you inputted, you're entered into the new teacher finder. New teacher finder, I will go over, but it basically is where you can connect with principals and principals can connect with you. Then, step 5, you could begin searching for jobs at New York City Public Schools. I do want to share some stats for the past hiring season. So for 2024, close to 40% of applications were started before March. So over 1,500 early commitments and early hires were completed before July 15th. It took an average of 11 days to submit the application, and it took an average of 3 months between the application submission and the hire date. So again, submit your application as soon as possible. And then something that I wanted to mention before, applying to teach early childhood, whether you are not certified yet but still want to apply, or you are certified but want to work in an early childhood setting specifically, definitely visit teachnycprek.org to determine the pathway for you if you want to teach early childhood. This is a screenshot of teachnyc.net. We're actually also in the process of changing that website, so it might look a little bit different within the next school year, so I might have to update this slide eventually. But you will see an apply now option on the carousel and other areas on the website. So again, visit teachnyc.net to start your application. Before you start the application, we also have a pretty in detail teacher application guide, which is going to walk you through the entire process. So what you're looking at again is a screenshot of teachnyc.net. You're going to find the guide by going to the homepage, clicking the application guide image on the lower right side, and the guide is going to share information on preparing your New York City teacher applications. This includes how to create an account, completing your common profile, tips and notes, any frequently asked questions, and it also introduces you to the online support center. Again, this is just what the New York City teacher application looks like. You might have to, if this is the first time on the website, you're probably going to go to new user. If you're an existing user, you can use your previous username and password. If you're not sure if maybe you did it in the past or tried to submit an application, you can put your last name and your social and it'll find an account for you if you have one in the past. If not, you can it'll prompt you to make a new profile. This is just what it looks like when you're registering for the account. You're going to put your first name, your last name, your preferred email address, your password, and your social. This is how we're able to find your profile if you lose the information. This is just tips to look for and things to look for in the application. This is really what the application looks like. It's asking you for, your first name, your last name, work eligibility, and this is the common profile. So the applicant profile or the common profile that I mentioned before really is just looking for account information and work eligibility, information about your education, any experience or references. The experience is very important. If you have prior teaching experience, this is where you want to upload it. That way, when you are hired, you are able to get the increased salary step and be at a different bracket instead of the original baseline salary that you would start with. Now, the actual teacher application, remember this slide here is just the applicant profile. The actual teacher application is going to have your job search profile. The main items that are required for this application are certification documentation. So it's either proof of certification or you could get a letter from WGU stating that you're on track to be certified by September 1st, 2025. You're also going to have your resume, your work history, any academic history, and professional references for this teacher application as well. Depending on your subject area, some additional components might include a Common Core aligned lesson plan and a personal statement. So this is just because we're looking for evidence that demonstrates you are a polished professional who has thoughtfully submitted an application to New York City Public Schools. Your responses to these parts of the application can affect your engagement with the offices. So for example, if you identify that the Bronx is a borough preference, then you may be invited to online or in-person recruitment events in the Bronx. Again, select the earliest month that you'd be certified and ready to start a full-time teacher position. If you indicate that you will be available this school year, you will receive an outreach about networking events and job search supports related to mid-year hiring. Obviously, it's June 17th and the school year ends on June 26th, so you don't have to worry about mid-year hiring. But for future references, if you're not on track to apply this year, potentially you could apply mid-year next year. In the job search profile for the New York City Public School teacher application, there are multiple questions that allow you to specify the preferences for grade levels, boroughs, and program types. So for grade levels, you can select your grade level preference in this part of the application. Now, this preference should match your certification areas. So don't select the preference for a grade level that you aren't certified to teach. But for those outside of New York City, there are certifications that you can get that are kindergarten all the way through 12th grade. You can indicate your borough preference as well. Indicate the location where you would be most interested in finding a job. As you might not know, New York City Public Schools is the largest school district in the country, so operates over 1,600 schools in the 5 boroughs, which are Manhattan, Staten Island, Queens, the Bronx, and in Brooklyn. Therefore, understanding your preference in terms of where you would like to work is important to our staff. So the first question looks at your top 3 borough preferences. If you're only willing to accept a position in 1 or 2 boroughs, please make sure that you select 1 or 2 boroughs and then mark no preference for the 3rd borough option. And you can revisit this section of the application as often as you'd like. If your circumstances change throughout the hiring season, you can adjust without an issue. You are also going to see a prompt for District 75. Now, District 75 is a non-geographical district providing quality and rigorous individualized educational programs to students with significant challenges. So if you are in an eligible certification area, your resume may be shared with District 75 schools in the geographical regions that you specified. You can also indicate interest in working in District 75 schools to help District 75 principals focus on your application specifically. And as part of the hiring process as well, if you're interested in the early childhood work and working in these community-based organizations, you can indicate yes or no if you want community-based organization hiring managers to look at your resume and reach out to you for opportunities as a certified teacher. The uncertified teachers who are currently interested in working in the early childhood, they would be filling out a separate application, not this application for the lead teacher in a study plan. This is just what the prompt looks like for the teacher certification. Again, it's going to ask you for your certification type, subject area, grade level, certification issue date, and then what pathway you took for your certification, whether you attended a traditional university, did you participate in our teaching fellows. Note that you need to enter this information for each certification and extension that you hold. One of the more common reasons why teacher candidate applications get held up during the review process, and again, everything is reviewed manually by a person, is that they do not upload the correct or current supporting documentation showing that they're certified or on track to be certified. So if you hold a New York State teacher certification already, you will need to submit an electronic copy of your current unexpired teacher certification or a screenshot of your Teach account showing your current active New York State certification. If you're on track to receive your certification by September of 2025, You must submit an on-track letter completed by your college or university. In this case, it would be WGU. You can find a sample of one of these letters by scanning the QR code here. So I'll give everyone just a second just to screenshot it and then take a look at it afterwards. For those who are certified to teach in another state, you should begin the reciprocity process to get certified in New York State. So please go to nysed.gov to begin that process. NYSED takes about 6 to 8 months to review applications. So if you're interested in teaching at New York City Public Schools, you should begin this process as soon as possible. So again, take some time, take a screenshot of this page or take a picture of the QR codes and then visit the New York State Ed Department website afterwards. We don't have a required resume template, but we do provide prospective teachers with a resume template in our online application guide. So if you were interested in this resume template, this is where you can get it. But again, we don't have a preference for a resume template. You'll also have the chance to upload another copy of your resume in the application, in addition to what you've included in the Common Profile. And this is just a chance to ensure that your resume reflects your experience and qualifications to become a New York City public school teacher. And these are just some tips that we have for composing your resume. Again, bringing up the overview, after completing the Common Profile and the New York City Public Schools teacher application, all applicants will then receive a confirmation email from the Office of Teacher Recruitment and Quality confirming receipt of their application. All applications will be reviewed to determine certification eligibility. Only applications that meet standards are entered into the new Teacher Finder, a database for candidates to connect with schools and access job postings and other resources. We'll talk more about the new Teacher Finder shortly. And just to give you a sense of the typical application and hiring timeline, the application typically opens towards the beginning of winter. This year, it actually opened in January instead of December. But there is a lot of mid-year hiring that takes place during those early winter months. Then principals begin hiring and interviewing for the following school year. Early commitment is an initiative for candidates certified in high need subject areas to be able to accept positions in certain districts prior to budgets being released for peak hiring. This year, we even had a stipend available for eligible high need subject area candidates who accepted an early commitment position before June 16th. Then finally, peak hiring, which is when it gets super busy, you're probably going to get a lot of calls from principals, is June through August. We also want to share with you that the summer hiring application deadline is June 26th. If you complete your application before this deadline, you will have access to job search supports, such as access to vacancy lists in your subject area and preferred borough, invitations to in-person and virtual networking events, and invitations to job search workshops as well. Submit your application as soon as possible so you can take advantage of these search supports, as well as getting access to the new Teacher Finder so you can get your job search started. You're also given access to a calendar that has a lot of virtual and in-person hiring events. You might not get hired on the spot, but it's a great opportunity to meet with principals and meet with people and network and be able to get your name out there for a position that you're very interested in. To sum everything up, in order to teach at New York City Public Schools, you must, one, be certified, which is completing the requirements and applying for your New York State teaching certification. You must submit a New York City teacher application at teachnyc.net. And remember that you do not have to wait for your certification to apply. And finally, finding your own position or doing your own outreach and networking, which we will speak about in the next section. So for finding your fit, this is for high need subject areas, finding the right position, and a new support that we've added, which is the new Teacher Finder. So, one way that you can promote success in your job search is by considering districts, neighborhoods, and schools where your talents are most needed. If you are certified in certain high demand subject areas, this is especially true. If you really are determined to work here, you should think strategically about where you are looking for a position. If you want to go where the jobs are, consider teaching positions in the Bronx or in Brooklyn. This year, 58% of our new hires occur in schools in those two boroughs. So, two boroughs out of the five do a majority of the hiring. It's important that you find a school that's the right fit for you, but don't exclude schools because they are slightly out of your range or in a different borough from where you live. Almost all of our schools are easily accessible by public transportation, and we have students who need great teachers in all five boroughs. While we hire all certification areas and backgrounds, we want to highlight the current hiring priorities at New York City Public Schools. These priorities shift year to year based on the needs of our schools. If students are not yet certified or candidates are considering adding an extension to your certification, these are areas where principals will be hiring and where there is a high demand for more teachers to be certified in. So we encourage students to consider one of these areas where teachers are in high demand. If students have an extension or another certification in one of these subject areas, it might be wise to leverage it to increase their job prospects. So, a lot of these subject areas change around, but special education, science, mathematics, English as a new language, bilingual education, world languages, and career and technical education are always subject areas that are in high demand. And again, finding the right position. Do some research on some schools online, conduct outreach to schools directly, use the new teacher finder and other job boards, network with colleagues, professors, and friends, and attend New York City Public School networking events. These are just some upcoming networking events that you would have access to if you were in the new teacher finder. June 24th, there is a math and science virtual event. June 26th, a childhood education event. July 9th, early childhood for CBOs only, which is virtual. And then July 15th and the 22nd are going to be citywide events that are going to be in person. So again, if you're interested in any of these opportunities, submit your application and RSVP. Now, one new job search tool that we created is the new teacher finder. So once you submit your application, you're going to get access to the new teacher finder. You're going to be able to log in and use the new teacher finder in several ways. Your application profile is going to become viewable to principals and recruiters. You'll be able to search for teaching positions. So it's important to know that not all principals list positions in the new teacher finder, which is something that we are trying to do on the back end and make sure that all principals are posting on the new teacher finder. But as of right now, a lot of them do. And this will give you a sense of what's out there and what principals are looking for. Principals may not post positions, but they could be looking and reviewing resumes to see which candidates can be a good fit for their schools. If you're certified in a high need subject area, you may receive invitations to New York City Public School sponsored recruitment events during the spring or the summer. Now, it is important to note that not all candidates are invited to all events, online and in person. Overall quality of the application, event capacity, and current certification needs are taken into consideration when these invites are sent out. And this is just a screenshot of what the new teacher finder looks like. After selecting search all positions on the left panel, you can filter it for the position type, your preferred borough, your grade level, the subject area that you're teaching in. Principals enter their vacancies into the new teacher finder. And while you can express interest via the new teacher finder, you should also email principals directly. I'm a little bit old school. I even recommend calling the school, speaking either to the principal or the secretary, letting them know that you are certified, you're a certified teacher looking for a job in this specific subject area, and ask them if they're hiring. They either say, yes, when can you come in? Or they'll say, we're not hiring currently. If you want to learn more about specific schools, you can visit schools.nyc.gov and use the school search feature, which is right on the homepage. This just lets you search for schools by name, by borough, or grade level to help narrow down your options. However, you want to remember that the tool lists every school in our system, not just those with openings. So once you've identified schools that interest you, you'll need to contact them directly to inquire about position availability if they aren't on the new teacher finder. Clicking on the school's individual's names is going to take you to the page that contains a lot of information about the school. Click on the school website. You can go directly to their website. You can click on overview to see some data about their grade levels, their enrollment, the district itself. You can click on the school quality for direct links to school quality guides and reports for this school, and click on reports for additional information about the school programs, financing, and more. Depending on how deep in detail you want to dive into the school, that all of that information is public. And standing out virtually, again, something that's going to be spotlighted on the new teacher finder, your letters of recommendation, any cover letter. Again, these aren't mandatory, but when the principal is looking at your profile, these are the things that they're going to come across and they are going to read. A demo lesson, there is no right or wrong way to do a demo lesson. You can find templates online for these demo lessons as well. But if you have it on there already, this is something that a principal is going to look at when they're looking at your profile. And again, just your portfolio information. And now next steps and questions. Next steps for everyone here. You can visit the online support center for 24/7 support with the application and hiring process. The support center contains hundreds of articles about every stage of the application and hiring process, as well as a contact us button where you can submit your question to the TRQ help desk for a personalized response. Again, that is not monitored by a computer. That is monitored by myself and the rest of my team. So if you have a specific question that you can't find in this online support center, definitely send the contact us message and one of us will be able to help you with a response. Please follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram to stay on top of what's happening within New York City Public Schools. We do have a really active social media platforms where we regularly share information and updates on the application and any recruitment events that are happening, as well as news about what's going on in our schools and any relevant opportunities for teachers. So join in on the conversation. All right. Now that I have wrapped up there, I am going to now go back into the chat and see if there are any specific questions that were asked, or if anybody wants to unmute or ask a question or if you're shy, you can type the message in the chat as well. If anybody has questions about anything I touched upon, maybe something I didn't speak about, now is the time to ask.
Hi, Sergio. My question was in regards to, for those of us who are out of New York State, but already do have degrees, but are wanting to get certified, how would that process work?
Yes. So I'm actually going to type the website into the chat. You know what? I was going to write the New York State Ed Department website, but there actually is a separate, not separate, but a direct website to doing that reciprocity process. So let me drop that in the chat for you instead so you can take a look at the steps there. Give me 1 second.
Include that in the follow-up email as well, Sergio, just so people have that. But yeah, we can have you put it in the chat now, and then that'll also be included in the follow-up email. And just a reminder, everybody, I know Sergio just went through a ton of information. The session is being recorded, so if you want to go back and reference anything that was covered, certainly do so. And I'm also going to drop the survey in the chat as well. But yes, thank you, Sergio, for including that. And there was a question that did just come in. Being a WGU student, if you can also touch base on the individual pathway.
So that specific, if you're a WGU student, the pathway that you're currently on is technically the traditional pathway. Everybody, if I'm not mistaken, everyone who is graduating in their if you're in education program, you are going to be getting certified in the state that you're currently in, if I'm not mistaken. So that would be
Correct.
yes.
correct.
So that would be the first step, getting certified in the state that you're in. And then if it's not New York State, then you would go to the link that I dropped here and apply for the reciprocity.
Correct.
So, Sergio, let me ask, so how, I know we have a relationship with like clinical agreements, so anybody who's going through our program right now and needs to do student teaching can do so. But we also look at, trying to form a collaborative agreement. How do we go about being recognized as an approved like higher education institute within the school district?
That's a great question. We're actually currently working to revamp the student teaching pathway, just as overall. So right now, a colleague of mine, Stephanie Miller, she is working with the student teaching team to revamp it completely for the next semester. So if you want, Scott, email me and I'll connect you with Stephanie and the team that she's working with about what their specific plans are. Because right now it has been an issue trying to track down the student teachers, get more information about them. We know that they're out there and they're working, but it's as of right now, it's been more on a individual basis with the schools. We want to do it departmentally, have have a log of information within the main office, not just on a school by school basis.
Right, right. And I appreciate that. And that's been our challenge is like Rachel, who's on the call as well. So we represent obviously New York State. And, our role is to try to form partnerships. So obviously like doing something like this that we're currently doing today is part of, kind of what we can still extend to do as an official partner. And then obviously, my other question is the week you had mentioned the new teacher week. Like if we are able to become partners, or even if we're not at that point, is that something where WGU can show up as a at the table there and present material for people? Because we have obviously programs. We want to try to support New York City in any paraeducator that wants to become a teacher. We have pathways available for that. We have pathways obviously for teachers who have their bachelor's and want to get their master's degree, or teachers who are have their master's degree but maybe want to change over to special education. So we have definitely pathways that we have material on, that if that's a direction that the district is looking for as a whole, we can work together to form our own collateral and help market that for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So the just kind of some background about I guess my office, the Office of Teacher Recruitment and Quality. We absorbed an office from another floor, where our main office is 19 floors. Every floor has a different department, very segmented, I know. But we absorbed the department, and they're basically the teacher prep team, which offers supports for those first year students. Again, separately from connecting you with Stephanie Miller, I can connect you with somebody on that teacher prep team who is in charge of that first the teacher week that I touched on previously.
Okay.
But definitely, I know RJ and Rachel have my email. If they want to share it with you, Scott, send me an email and I'll try to connect you with the proper channels. Again, being part of New York City Public Schools in an office setting means that it's a lot of moving parts and a lot of different people and a lot of departments that I probably haven't even heard about yet. But I can connect you in the right way as much as I possibly can.
We appreciate it. We know it's bureaucracy at its finest, so we certainly appreciate any guidance we can get.
And then I know there was a question in the chat about the non-licensure route. Depending on the pathway that you're taking, whether if it's, for special education, early childhood education. I know I touched on it before. If you were doing the early childhood education route, we do have opportunities for lead teachers that are not certified and don't have their license yet. But if you are on a pathway that doesn't lead you to doesn't lead you to a specific certification, that doesn't mean that the classes that you took aren't eligible for a certification. So I'm going to link again, it's the New York State Education Department website. But potentially, even if you're in a route that doesn't get you the license, your coursework might be eligible for a certification. So I'm going to drop that link here as well.
Sergio, I had a question on mentorship in terms of like first time educators. Could you touch on like some of the programs that you all offer a little bit deeper as far as what does that look like for first time educators? Is it you get paired up with somebody that's been teaching for some time, where maybe it's like one-on-one meetings? Is that something that individuals have to seek out? Is it something that you all provide in a certain set program?
Yes. So again, the office that was brought into teacher recruitment and quality, which is the teacher, I believe it's called teacher prep. Again, it's a new office and they changed the name, but it is the teacher prep office. They handle a lot of those programs. One of the mentor programs that I've been involved with mostly, it is called the Men-Teach program. So this is for CUNY students who graduated from any CUNY school that has a Men-Teach program club within the school. They get put into a list, whatever school that they're into. If there is a alumni of the Men-Teach program there, that becomes their quote unquote anchor. And that's their person that they're matched with for the remainder of the school year. And it can take different shapes or forms. It can be one-on-one. It can be just meeting after school, meeting before school, phone calls, Zoom calls. If you join a school maybe that doesn't have a Men-Teach mentor, they try to match you up with one, as close as possible. If you're in a high school, they try to match you with another teacher in a high school, so you have that similar, those similar experiences. And then you can join in like via Zoom, or you can go to the teacher if it's a high school that's close by. Different paths to take with those mentorship programs. I've been more involved on that Men-Teach side, but that was a program that started in 2016, again by 2016 or 2018, but it was again started by Bill de Blasio when he was mayor to get more men of color specifically into schools. Now it's expanded so much since then. Anybody is able to join that program on the CUNY side, but on the New York City public school side, you're able to become a mentor. Even if you didn't graduate from the program, you're able to become a mentor for somebody who is looking for guidance. And that is where you reach out to that teacher prep team and let them know that you do want to become a mentor.
Awesome. Thank you. And I see there was a question that came in, Sergio. It's a little bit of a longer question, so I'll give you a second to respond
yes, I see.
to that.
Let's see. Okay, Monica. I think for you, let's see. So you don't have the certifications currently, but you do want to get the certifications. I would agree that the early childhood or CBO option is definitely viable for you. Monica, if you don't mind me asking, are you going to be, if you do get your certifications, are you able to get them by September, do you think?
I was trying to sign up. I was trying to sign up for the New York City teacher fellows, but I think the application is already. I mean, they don't accept application. I was trying to get to those 7 weeks program. So that is the fastest way for me, as far as I know, and I learned yesterday. So I don't think I will be able to get my certification by September 2025. But I don't want to sit and wait. Since I'm graduating next month, I would like to get some experience in a educational setting, and also working on my certification.
Yeah. So for you, I would definitely say two pathways that you could potentially take.
Mm-hmm.
One of them would definitely be in the CBOs, because you would be able to apply as a lead teacher on a study plan, because your bachelor's was in early childhood education. I'm sorry, in elementary education, but it's still kind of that age range that they accept someone on that on the study plan. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Another potential option for you now, the application is currently closed because it is the summer, but substitute teaching, that is a option that's going to open up usually around end of July, early August. All you
Okay.
need is a bachelor's degree. You don't need a bachelor's degree in a certain field, but you could fill out the substitute interest form, the application to become a substitute teacher. So you could become a sub at New York City Public Schools. And then be part-time while you're working towards your certification.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your information.
And then I know, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, everyone that signed up here did give RJ their email. So if that's the case, Monica, I will be putting you on our mailing list. And the mailing list really just sends out a lot of deadline information. So when if you're interested in substitute teaching, when that substitute teacher application opens up, you would be getting an email from us probably about a week before, just letting you know that it is going to be opening up and to get any information ready if you're interested.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah. The CBO option, that's the community-based organizations. These are early childhood centers that are associated with New York City Public Schools, but are independently owned and operated. They have positions for not yet certified teachers who can either are currently in school or are about to start school again. They are able to go on a study plan and work full-time as a teacher without being certified. And this would be for early childhood education, the CBOs.
And I'm looking at the time here, so I do want to kind of wrap things up to be respectful of your time, Sergio. Any closing remarks on your end that you wanted to cover, share with those that are in attendance or might go back and watch the recording?
Yeah, well, first I want to again thank everybody for joining me today. I know I did throw a lot of information at you, but I rather throw too much than not enough towards the end. If you're currently in the process of getting certified, you're going to be certified by September. Remember, you can still fill out your New York City Public Schools application at teachnyc.net. Because this is a bit of a smaller group, I am going to drop my email here in the chat if anybody has questions that maybe you think of afterwards, or again, maybe you didn't want to ask in front of a group. I know I've done that a couple of times. If anybody wants to email me their question or reach out to me, this is the best way to do it. And I'll try to support you as much as possible.
Awesome, Sergio. Thank you so much for jumping in. That was fantastic. And to your point, a lot of information, but that's why we record these, so you can go back and reference and everything that was covered. But Sergio, thank you for your time jumping in. And I'll give a shout out to Rachel. Rachel, thank you for setting this up. This was fantastic, and certainly look forward to continuing stuff like this moving forward.
Thank you all for joining.
All right. Have a great rest of the day, everyone. Take care.